Hello everyone and welcome to Singapore, one of the most interesting countries out there in terms of its history, so much rich cultures and blends of different people, and most importantly, some amazing food. So
Slight left.
today we're going to be exploring some of that food culture and all that blends, and haven't eaten all day, so very hungry, so let's go find some breakfast now.
After landing in the airport, I was able to find a public bus that took me to the city to our first spot of the day. To start the day off, we're going to have a Singaporean breakfast staple with kaya toast. If you don't know what kaya toast is basically a Chinese, British, Southeast Asian fusion dish, which instead of using fruit jam on the bread, it's using kaya, which is a coconut, egg sugar, and pandan bread, which sort of creates a very unique sweet flavor on the bread. And as you can see in the video, it is typically served with eggs and coffee. However, I'm not the biggest coffee guy, so I got it with tea. The tea was a sort of milk tea, and it was actually pretty sweet and a great counterbalance to the sweetness of the bread as well as the sort of savoriness of the eggs. And here's a look inside of the toast. They got kind of two layers here, one with butter and one with the kaya and peanut butter.
All right, we're on to our next spot. I actually spent a good amount of time in this mall because my phone actually died, so I had to charge it up. Now we are going to try and find the famous nasi lemak. So gonna go catch a bus to a place that seems pretty solid.
And like I said, we are on to our next place, which is a nasi lemak spot. And here I am just walking throughout the city to get to our next spot. And just like that, we have reached our next spot. This place is called Ayam Taliwang, and as you can see, it was on the Michelin Guide for 2021-2022. Here I am placing my order at the self-order kiosk. And they had a lot of different options in terms of how many pieces of chicken you wanted. They even had fish options if you didn't want any chicken that day. I also ended up getting a fruit punch. And here is our delicious looking plate of nasi lemak with the fruit punch. Nasi lemak is actually a Malaysian dish, but given the big Malaysian population in Singapore, you can imagine it is quite popular here as well. Now this dish consists of rice, sambal, anchovies, and typically chicken or fish. And what makes this dish unique is the rice is cooked in coconut milk and pandan leaves, which gives it a fragrant, slightly sweet and creamy texture and taste. And the dish I got in particular had this super crispy fried chicken, which gave it a really nice crunch, but was also super juicy and flavorful on the inside. Now here I am struggling, trying to get everything into one bite here, and I got the chicken, rice, and there goes my egg. After tasting this dish, I realized why it was so popular. All of the different components of this dish work together to create a really nice taste. You got the spice and sweetness of the sambal, the savouriness and saltiness of the chicken, as well as the rice as well to balance everything out. After lunch, I decided to do a bit more exploring. Here I am at the bridge near the Marina Bay Sands. After doing a lot of exploring, was getting quite parched, so I decided to stop at a Luckin Coffee. Got a strawberry refresher drink and was very refreshed. Alright, we're back. Been a little bit, I went back, actually checked into the hotel, just chilled for a little bit, charged my phone, and now about to go find some dinner. I think I'm gonna hit up this satay street, what they call it, so looks cool, saw on TikTok. Pretty touristy, but just thought we'd check it out and get some dinner. Let's go. Alright, and for our last stop of the day, we are headed to the aforementioned Satay Street. And like I mentioned before, it is pretty touristy, but I also did see a good amount of locals who came here after work for a meal or even like a hangout spot. But it is a super cool atmosphere. As you can see, they shut down the whole street and it's filled with satay vendors. The line attendants do employ some pretty aggressive tactics to get you in their lines. However, they are all pretty friendly. And I also noticed they do speak a lot of languages, from Indonesian, Malaysian, to Mandarin, to Tamil, to of course English, and probably a lot more. So this is the stand that I decided to settle on. It's Best Satay number 7 and 8. And as you can see, they got the pictures here, big portion sizes, and if you looked back at the menu, you could see how high those prices were. Not surprising considering how touristy the spot is. Also got a drink from one of the other stands. This is a blue lemonade turd drink. And here is my food. Got the shrimp and got the mutton, beef, and chicken. Here I am actually eating them. Overall, they were pretty good. Very fresh, they cook it right in front of you, and you get a lot for what you pay for, obviously. Now, would I recommend coming here as a solo traveler? Maybe not, just because of the price tag. Maybe try to find somewhere a bit more local. But if you're looking for some good vibes, a place that's open late at night, I would recommend here, as it is a pretty cool experience to be out at night eating satay on the street. And as I mentioned before, I got the beef/mutton, chicken, and shrimp satay. Here I am trying the shrimp. It also comes with 2 little cups of peanut sauce as well, which is nice.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to day 2. Here are the views from the hotel room. Incredible. One thing I've noticed about Singapore is streets are just insanely clean, which is crazy, and I saw some signs with some insane fee prices for like littering and stuff like that. So obviously it's famous for gum being illegal, and some other things like that. But man, they really enforce it, and the people seem to take good care of their city. Nice and easy to get around as well with the public transport. But today we're going to be hitting up some more spots. Gonna try to keep it a little bit more local. Yesterday we did a lot of touristy stuff. $31 for a set of satay probably isn't worth it, but hey, it's an experience. So like I said, we're gonna find some stuff to eat today, and I'll see you in the next shot. Well, that did not go to plan. Essentially, they took a payment method that I did not have, and I couldn't really set it up there as well. So I'm gonna have to move on and find someplace else.
Okay, after that whole debacle in the morning, I actually explored quite a bit afterwards and stumbled upon a Jollibee in a mall. So I decided to just eat here because I was pretty hungry and I needed a place to charge my phone. And they don't have Jollibee where I'm from, and I've heard great things, so I really wanted to try it. But overall, cool little chicken spot. The chicken was crispy and nice. It also comes with gravy to dip the chicken in, and yeah, pretty good. After that, I made my way to our next spot, which was actually located near Haji Lane, which is like the Arab Muslim part of the city. Very cool place and very fun to explore. But for our next meal, we're gonna have the famous Hainanese chicken. Like the name suggests, this dish originates from Hainan in southern China. The place I went to was called Hai Geji. Probably said that wrong, but overall, pretty cool seating area and good service. To order, you just scan the QR code and order directly off the site. So here is our meal. As you can see, there are a few different components. First, we got the chicken. Typically, it would just be poached chicken, which is that lighter shade. However, they had a roasted option, so I got both poached and roast. And then we got sauces, rice, and chicken broth. And then I also got a drink as well. Now, something that makes this dish so special is the rice. So the rice is actually cooked with chicken stock, garlic, ginger, and chicken fat typically, and this gives it such a savory, fragrant aroma and taste that is just so unique to this dish. It also comes with a side of chicken broth, and with that you can actually put more in your rice or dip the chicken in. It also comes with 3 sauces. One is a chili sauce, one is a ginger paste, and one is a dark soy sauce. So you can really customize every bite if you want more of a spicy taste, salty, or a slightly sweet taste. Another one of the stars of the dish is that steamed chicken. It's cooked in such a way that the skin literally just comes right off. You actually just saw me take it right off the chicken there. It's super juicy and flavorful, and it's slightly seasoned to not take away from the other flavors of this dish. It really pairs well with everything else. This was definitely a top 2 dish for me that I tried in Singapore. At the end of the day, it's super simple but still super flavorful. Can't really go wrong with this dish. After lunch, I pretty much just walked around the city and explored
here I am at Haji Lane. Also checked out Chinatown, so I'll put some clips of me exploring here as well before our next spot. Alright, after a swim and refresh, we're gonna check out a night market. Apparently it was in Crazy Rich Asians. I don't know if that's true, but we'll find out. And just like that, we made it to the Newton Food Center. And yes, it is apparently the night market where they filmed that scene from Crazy Rich Asians, if anyone is familiar. I'm really glad I got to go to this place because I actually didn't explore too many hawker centers while I was in Singapore, so ending the night here was actually pretty nice. Still a little bit on the touristy side, but still a cool experience for sure. So this is the place where I decided to get my food from. I actually got stingray, which I never had before, so I was very intrigued. Also got a drink from that stall as well, and a side of rice. Yeah, like I said, never had stingray before, but as you can see, there's a sort of thin layer of meat under that bony sort of surface. And that's not surprising when you think of sort of the body type of a stingray, but it was actually pretty good. And it was covered in that chili there, which gave it a good kick there for sure. Alright, just wrapped up the markets, and honestly, I might be ready to wrap it up for day 2. Tomorrow I leave, so I'm not sure if I'll do anything then, but yeah, said I was gonna be more local today, but maybe not.